Designer Notes Subject 139. Back in April, there were reports of an MRG square being submitted for certification. Now we're getting leaks of promotional material for its imminent release. Like a favorite fast food meal, G-Shock leaks are becoming a guilty pleasure for me. We'll bite into the many juicy details and indulge in all the cholesterol-inducing expectations. Like, comment, and subscribe for content you'd like to see next. Follow us at Instagram at DesignAtelieraRuba for behind-the-scenes content. Email us at designatelierruba@gmail.com. Strap yourselves for a small introduction of the MRG line. Some call it Mr. G, but its name was actually derived from the words Majesty and reality. These two words formed the philosophy behind the MRG collection, which really are just G-Shock watches that's produced at the highest of standards and materials that can be worn both as a casual watch and formal luxury timepiece. Casio uses this line to showcase its metal forging and finishing technology that not only adds to its durability but also its appeal. MRG watches are characterized for their use of titanium cases and parts, along with its complex mechanical design that is rare for digital quartz watches. The top models of the line, like the MRG-B5000SH or the Shugeki Maru, even boast handcrafted processes from experts in the field. If you thought that handcrafted watches are mostly relegated to the hands of the Swiss, G-Shock implores you to reconsider. I mean, just look at it. It's simply stunning. The Japanese take pride in the art of, well, almost everything they work with their hands on, and the MRG line is the calling card for these luxury watch artisans. It is undeniable how the MRG line could justify its steep price tag. It is steep for those who know enough about G-Shocks, but for those looking from the camps of luxury goods, it's somewhat understandable. But from within the camps of the G-Shock Square subculture, the prospect of having an MRG-grade G-Shock Square is fascinating at the very least. So what can we expect from Casio's first MRG Square? A few days back, images of the promotional graphics was leaked online with some very clear deviations from a typical G-Shock Square. It sorta looks like one, but you know it's not. It's hard to make it out from the low image qualities. So I went back and did some reading to find out that there were reported images for the SGS. The SGS, or Société Générale de Surveillance of Taiwan, is a company for inspection and compliance certification of electronics and other related products. This is where the MRG was submitted with the documents clearly naming the model number. From the images, you can clearly see that these are prototypes with some unfinished links for the band. On closer inspection, some key notable features can be identified. The MRG tag is prominently marked on the display with the titanium label written on the top of the frame. Outside on the bezel itself is an actual screw within the bezel rivet hole, which is something I'm very happy to see. No more faux rivet designs on this one. Unlike the current metal squares, which are made of one solid metal case, this MRG-B5000 will feature separate screwed parts for the case corners and the side button guards. This is an interesting design take because a solid block of metal is often preferred for durability than a multi-part construction. More parts engineering-wise means more parts that could possibly fail. Other details include a screw-down caseback and some interestingly polished links. These may be a sign that these could be polished titanium links, but that will have to be confirmed. Something that we can note on this prototype is the tough solar and Bluetooth frame marks, which suggests that this will use a 3459 module. This could be a letdown to some who would prefer a different module for their multi-$1,000 G-Shock. From the side, we can see what looks like a separate bezel part. Being an MRG timepiece, this could be a forerunner to future hand-finished versions in the same vein as some of the top MRG models. Another interesting detail is that the first link from the case seems to also have an actual screwed-in part. This may just be an illusion, but if it's real, this also adds visual interest to the watch. From the promo images, some of the things that were submitted actually could make it in on the finished product. The corners will indeed feature a screwed-on structure, along with the bezel and case sides being made from separate parts. There will be two models, one in black and red, with the other in silver tone like the prototype. What's interesting to see is that the top frame now has the tough solar tag on it rather than titanium. Could this mean that these MRG models will not be featuring titanium cases? We'll have to wait and see. This has happened before with the red eyepiece square, where it was leaked to be a titanium watch but then was launched as an IP-coated steel. Or it could be that G-Shock simply wants to replace this display layout. And finally, those screws that I love the most are actually part of the exploded view of this promotional material, which makes me one excited G-Shock fan. In fact, I'm so excited that I had to just make a clearer render of this current promo poster. I repainted many of the parts and used some existing images and textures to make this image. This will likely be the most I will ever work for this MRG square because of a suspected price tag of $3,700. It would take a lot of Happy Meal-less afternoons before I could ever afford one. It's a cool design. It's an MRG square. It is majestic, and it is getting more real than we could actually think. Bravo, G-Shock. This is another one I'll be admiring from afar, with only a cheeseburger sharing my admiration.